galaxy still needs its guardians.
Hello, we come in peace. Come on, Drax.
Part threes, they're always the most daunting. How did you sort of settle in on making this movie?
I don't know if I ever really did settle in on making this movie. I was always very on edge the whole time I was making the film because I am aware of how trilogies go. I did know how difficult it was to balance all of these different characters and the finalness of their stories in this trilogy. So it was always an uneasy feeling for me to make this film, but I had a great time making it nevertheless with all the people that I've grown to love over the years.
Chris, you say the first F-bomb, I think, right? The first F-bomb in a Marvel movie. Is that scripted?
That was not scripted, no. But I think it was in this sort of comedic, collaborative moment. There's about a probably 5 or 6 minute period of the film where we're really trying to get a lot of laughs, and that was one of the buttons at the end of it. And we were just trying a million different things, and I think James told me to try saying that, and I tried it and ended up making it. It's not the first time I've attempted to get an F word into the show. Usually, by the time I start dropping F-bombs, it's my indication to James that I don't have anything left in the tank. I'm like, yeah, I think we probably got it, right? I'm I get really blue, and now it becomes less about creating something for the movie and more about just making the people behind the monitor laugh. And at that point, we typically move on. But this one happened to make it in the movies, and it's pretty funny.
James, I never realized how many people you looked at for Star-Lord before settling in on Chris. So what was it about Chris Pratt that made him the perfect guy for Star-Lord?
Be specific. Take your time.
Chris had a little bit of money. He was able to pay me under the table.
True.
To hire him as Star-Lord. No. So listen, I can't really tell you what it is. I know that I was very inspired by Robert Downey's casting as being casted as Tony Stark. And he was this guy who came into this role and he brought his own life to it. He brought another, feeling to it that was not in the character himself in the comics or in the script of Iron Man. And I wanted somebody who could come in and embody Star-Lord, who in a way was not the most exciting character in the movie because we have a raccoon and a tree and an alien assassin and another alien assassin. And we needed somebody who was going to breathe a special life into the central character of the first movie. And he came in and he just was himself. And there was this sort of, Midwestern, down-home charm that Chris Pratt has that worked really well for the movie.
Chris, I asked you once, I said, talk to me about your transition. And you said it was like doing a 15-point turn on a highway and trying not to get killed by other cars. But Chris, I got to ask you, what was it like for you? Going back 10 years, you're trying out for Star-Lord. What's going through your head?
Every time you audition for something, for me personally, I obsess over any material that I can get. If it's a script, I would read it a bunch of times. If sides, I would rehearse it a million times. If there was any source material, I would try to read it. I would just try to give myself a leg up through research when auditioning. And there was nothing on Star-Lord. The only thing there was is a list of actors that Hollywood wanted to potentially play Star-Lord, and I wasn't on any of them. And so all I knew going in was this was an opportunity for me to just try to do something that was my own thing. The thing that I would do if I was given the opportunity in the budget to make an action comedy. Do the thing that you would want to do. That's what I felt like. And I went in to talk to James, and I asked if he had any questions. I said, man, of course I have a million questions. How much time do you have? This is I don't know anything about this character. They won't give me a script. Tell me what happens in the movie. It would be helpful to know. And he said there have been a lot of iterations of this character through time. We're not beholden to any previous performance because it's never been put on screen. We just want someone to breathe their own life into it. And I said, great. Enough said. That's perfect. And I just did the thing that I wanted to do. And it worked out in the audition. And then I blew the screen test, but thankfully he let me be in the movie anyways.
What do you mean you blew the screen test?
I mean, I blew it. I was doing the screen test and I was doing a balcony scene with the girl painted in green, and it just wasn't working. And I was trying to rely on, you know, my typical skills of surprising someone in the moment with some improvisation, and it wasn't really flowing, and it wasn't with Zoe, it was with an actress who was playing the role, and it wasn't really working. And then, and James said, hey, listen, it's not going very well for you right now. Can you try to turn it around? And I didn't. And then he had this idea of bringing Batista out, because
Batista was screen testing on that same day.
And just putting us on camera together. And we did an improv bit where I touched him like this, and he just looked at me, and then I said a bit like, that's the last time I'll ever touch you. And I think that moment there was a little bit of a laugh, and this chemistry between he and I was just enough, combined with James's confidence in me as the role, for the studio to sign off.
Yeah, I knew that I wanted to cast Chris as Star-Lord, and I knew I wanted to cast Dave as Drax. So these screen tests weren't for me. They were for proving to Marvel that I could cast who I wanted. That these guys were the right thing, and it was that little bit that convinced Marvel that he was the right one to cast. And then Dave had to go on jumping through a few more hoops before they agreed to him, because they didn't want to.
And there was, at one point, I had done this film called Zero Dark 30, and I'd gotten in pretty good shape for it. And I would send pictures of myself to my brother, like flexing in my underwear, to be like, hey, look at whatever. And like I got in the best shape and sent him the picture. And he was like, my brother saw Zero Dark 30. He goes, dude, you never have your shirt off. No one ever knew that you got in good shape. You look so good. You need to show that on a talk show. I was like, I can't show on a talk show. We were backstage at Leno, actually, and he was like, dude, show him that picture. I was like, it's not how it works. They have a pre-interview. We already know what we're going to talk about. It's too late. And then I was doing Ellen later, and he goes, hey, you're doing Ellen. You're actually wearing Ellen underwear. You have to show the picture on Ellen. I was like, all right. So I did it. I showed this picture of me in Ellen underwear on Ellen, and you know, we had a moment on her show and online and stuff. And when I sat down with Kevin Feige to finally get the role, he pulled out an 8x10 printed out from the internet of me in my underwear with the Ellen underwear on, and goes, can you do this? Can you get in this shape? And I was like, how long do I have? And he said, you have about 6 months. I was like, oh yeah, I'll blow that out of the water. I can do, that's all I'll do. And he goes, okay, then, you know, thank you. And then as I was driving home, they gave me the call that I was going to be Star-Lord. So I kind of have to credit my brother for convincing me to show a selfie in my Ellen underwear on TV, because it was, in terms of getting there physically, that was what was required, I think, for them to imagine me as this character.
Yeah, I was shown that picture also, because
really?
Because I said to Sarah Finn, I said, you know, she's like, I really want Chris Pratt to. I'm like, who's Chris Pratt? And she said, oh, you know, he's on Parks and Rec. He's this guy, whatever your character's name was. I said, oh, the chubby guy from Parks and Rec. She's like, yeah, but he also got really buff for, you know, Zero Dark 30. I'm like, what? And then she showed me the picture of you in your underwear.
James, Chris, how did you make peace with saying goodbye?
We haven't done it yet. I'm putting it off. We're still in the movie. You know, we have promotion. Today's our last international press day. Do you?
I am not a person that's like. I don't want to say. We're gonna talk again. Like, we don't have to say goodbye to each other. I'll say, no. I can't do it. Like, I really can't.
Oh, buddy, you won't have to. We don't have to say goodbye. We're not saying goodbye. The moment.
I'm gonna cry.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
This is good. This is good stuff. The crucible and the pressure cooker of being on set together and spending hours and hours and hours together doing this thing where we're making a movie, but we're also cutting it up and goofing around and laughing. The frequency with which we spend time together inevitably is going to go down, because he's going to go do movies, I'm going to go do movies, and then when we're not doing movies, we're going to go back to our families. But we will make time for each other in there, and we'll talk a lot. We're always going to be friends, and we have a long life ahead of us, so maybe we'll work together again. But for now, there's a finality to this.
But I was hoping I could cast you as Crypto.
Crypto.
The super dog. But you have to be like Maria, and you have to do motion capture on set and walk around on your hands and knees.
I'll do Crypto, but you have to pay me in crypto.
He can't talk.
Oh, great.
I'll pay you in crypto, which amounts to $0.
Great. Perfect. I'll do it. But how many? $0, but I want 1 million of them.
I'll give you $1 million $0.
Oh, no, 2 million. You're watching my negotiation tactics. I'll do it. So it sounds like there's going to be a character called Crypto in Superman. Breaking news.
That's a scoop for me.
Yeah.
It is a scoop, I guess.
Yeah, way to go. Way to go. Yeah. You're fired.
Some dumbass Earth dude who met a girl, fell in love. That girl died. and then came back a total dick.
You left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.